Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
Survivors are still being rescued, but a little girl missing after the earthquake in Mexico doesn't exist, leaving a nation confused. I'm Nikki Batiste in New York. I'll have the story coming up.
And a new report says a Superfund cleanup site has slowed to a standstill across the country. How that's affecting Butte, that's just ahead. Good morning. Welcome to your Friday and your first day of fall. I'm Missy O'Malley, and Chet Lehman will have our forecast in just a moment. Matt Elwell is doing evening weather this week. More than 280 people have been confirmed dead and nearly 2,000 are injured from this week's massive 7.1 magnitude earthquake that hit Mexico. At least 60 survivors, though, have been pulled from collapsed buildings, and government insists that the search continues. But as CBS's Nikki Batiste in New York explains, the search is all over the news that has captivated the nation turned out to be based on a false rumor.
Rescue crews with dogs in and around Mexico City spent a third full day and night looking for survivors of Tuesday's massive earthquake. Though there were fewer success stories, survivors are still being found beneath the rubble. This is a rescuer crawling down between two collapsed walls, pulling a woman to safety. She was one of 3 survivors saved yesterday from this building.
Habremos de mantener las tareas de rescate.
Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto says there are still at least 10 damaged buildings where there may be survivors. He stressed that rescue work will continue as long as there's hope of anyone still trapped and alive. At one of the schools that collapsed, stories started to spread among rescuers and the media that a girl was alive, stuck under the rubble. Live TV coverage in Mexico gripped the nation. Turns out, though, the story wasn't true. Mexican Navy officials say all of the children inside had been accounted for. They would not rule out, though, that someone, possibly a staff member, is still alive inside. 11 children were rescued from the school. 19 children and 6 adults there were killed. A scary moment for rescuers during the day as they had to stop when an earthquake alarm rang during a reported aftershock. Crews resumed yelling, "Si se puede," translation, "Yes, we can." Nikki Batiste for CBS News.
Just incredible footage there. Rescue crews from around the world, including the U.S., started arriving yesterday to help assist with the search and rescue efforts. And Hurricane Maria has left millions of people in Puerto Rico facing dispiriting prospect of weeks, perhaps months without electricity. The Category 3 storm was blamed for at least 19 deaths thus far. Maria's next potential target was the Turks and Caicos Islands, which are still recovering from Hurricane Irma. On Wednesday, Maria barreled through Puerto Rico from end to end, knocking out the power grid system. It was the strongest hurricane to hit the U.S. Commonwealth in more than 80 years. Officials said that recovery will take months. The storm is now heading north, and it's expected to move away from land and back into the open ocean, which of course would be a little bit of good news. But Chet, for the last 2 weeks, you've been following Irma, you've been following Jose, following Maria. This is just incredible.
Absolutely true. And Maria's still out there. You can see on the satellite and radar over the last few hours as we bring this up. It's not making direct landfall over the Turks and Caicos, but it's still heading out across those Bermuda Islands there, heading out to sea, but again, still 100-plus-mile-an-hour winds. Back here, we're not going to see 100-plus-mile-an-hour winds, so 20 to 30-mile-an-hour winds. We also have some snow in the air, slushy driving conditions around southwest Montana. We'll talk about that in 10 minutes. Winter weather advisory in effect until midnight. Winter storm warning for that pink shaded area in effect until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're saying 20 inches of snow possible. Oof. Some of those areas. Right now, it's a balmy 30s around southwest Montana, 32 and snowing in West Yellowstone, light snow in Dillon, and 35. Temperatures today not going to get much warmer. Have that complete forecast plus a look at the weekend, Missy, from the Billionaire Weather Patio in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chet. Now 6:34 here on your Friday. At the United Nations, North Korea's envoy threatened to conduct a nuclear test in the Pacific Ocean after the U.S. threatened widened trade sanctions on the country. Kim Jong-un, the country's leader, called President Trump a mentally deranged U.S. dotard, the rejoinder to Mr. Trump calling him Rocket Man. Now, in a rare personal statement, Kim criticized Trump's UN speech for worsening North Korea's U.S. tensions. North Korea's foreign minister will give a speech at the UN today. And cleanup at several Superfund sites around the country has been stagnant, according to a recent report from the EPA. Now, this includes Butte. MTN's John Amy looks at where the cleanup is lagging in the mining city.
The EPA in Washington, D.C. released an internal report this week noting that cleanup at Superfund sites around the country are moving slowly or at a standstill. This report even references the Superfund site in Butte.
No one has to tell the people of Butte that Superfund takes a long time, and it appears to most of us that it takes far too long.
John Sesso has been working on the Priority Soils Superfund cleanup in Butte since 1991. This project involves capping mine waste sites on the Butte Hill to prevent contaminated stormwater from running into Silverbow Creek.
Over these last 25 years, I'd say 90% of the pollution that used to come down off that hill, carried in stormwater, has been eliminated. Now we're working on the last 10%.
In response, the EPA claims Administrator Scott Pruitt is making Superfund a priority. Through his Superfund task force, he is ensuring the expertise of EPA staff is fully utilized where needed throughout the country in order to clean up Superfund sites and protect human health and the environment. Sesso questions how this can be done with recent budget cuts to the EPA, but is glad Washington is paying attention to Butte.
If more attention at the highest levels of the EPA are being brought to that problem, that's a good thing.
John Sesso says he hopes the EPA is serious about its commitment to Superfund cleanup because a lot of time and effort has been put into the Butte project, but there's still a lot more to do.
We need to clean up the hill a little bit better. We got to take care of the Blacktail Creek, which is really our prize stream running through our community. And then we move on with taking care of ourselves for the rest of time. We've got the resources in the bank to do that. We just got to move forward with these final decisions and get on with the future of our community.
A future in flux. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Now, the EPA report noted that the work has slowed or at least stopped at 49 Superfund sites in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington state. And here's the latest on Montana's efforts to get in compliance with the federal Real ID program. During this year's legislative session, lawmakers passed a bill giving residents the choice to get a driver's license that meets Real ID requirements. MVD plans to implement that program by the start of 2019. Montana received a waiver from Real ID requirements through October 10th, and leaders have asked for another extension. Once those requirements take effect, the federal government will not accept current Montana driver's licenses as identification at airports or other federal facilities. People who don't get a Real ID compliance license will have to use passports or other forms of IDs in those places. And question for you, have you been a little chilly this past week? Our temperatures are running 20 or more degrees below normal for this time of year. And this has caught a school in Belgrade a little bit by surprise and left it without heat on some of these chilly days. MTN's Caitlin Corbett tells us how this happened.
With temperatures really starting to cool down and things starting to feel a bit more like fall, many people are starting to turn their heat on. But here at the Quah building of the Heck Quah Elementary School, they were without their heat for the past few days. With the unexpected shift in temperatures, Heck Quah Elementary knew it was time to get their heating system ready. But with a new boiler in place, it needed to be inspected first.
We had a very old boiler replaced this last summer, and with that, we have to have Northwest Energy come in and certify the work that's been done. They view it as a new building or a new system, and so they have to come in and light the pilot lights and approve the system before it can be activated.
But Stalker said that he was confident the children would be prepared to weather a few days of cooler temperatures.
In Montana, it's going to come, and usually it's a flip of the switch. Students in Montana, they respond well to dressing appropriately for the weather.
The Quah building was scheduled to wait 3 weeks for the boiler to be up and running. But after Northwestern Energy heard about the students being without heat, they responded.
Well, we heard about the situation over at the school, and we realized that it was a matter of importance to the school staff and to students and their parents. And we think there may have been some initial misunderstanding about the status of that work. So hopefully we have resolved the problem.
They obviously received word that we were in need, that we had a school full of children who needed some heat. And so they are actually in our boiler room right now activating the system.
The boiler is now up and running, and these students will have heat. Reporting in Belgrade, Caitlin Corbett, MTN News.
In other news to pass along, more donations have been rolling in for the Montana Television Network Fire Relief Fund, Wildfire Relief Fund. We partnered with the Montana Community Foundation, and the total as of yesterday, more than $105,000. We met both our MTN match of the first $50,000 and then another match from the Arthur M. Family Blank Foundation, totaling $205,000. And so far, we've had 614 donations of all shapes and sizes. Each one is of great value, and each one is so greatly appreciated. We do have to take a real quick break, but we'd love for you to stay with us. In a moment, our own Montana Television Network political analyst, Dr. David Parker, sits down with Senator Jon Tester. But first, sending it out to New York City to see the headlines topping the news for you at 7, right here on CBS.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS this morning, the latest on North Korea's new threat to detonate a hydrogen bomb in the Pacific Ocean, and Kim Jong-un's rare statement attacking President Trump. And Bill Gates is in Studio 57, the progress he's made on global health and why some of that work is now at risk. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.